Grizzlies, and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela Kay, and today we're looking at the case of Tristyn Bailey. You might know it by the name Aiden Fucci. That might ring a bell because there's been a lot of articles, court dates, news clips of Aiden Fucci, but of course, the case is about Tristyn Bailey, the victim. Welcome all. Thank you so much. I know this is not really my usual time, but here we are together, and I'm going to bring you everything that we know so far in this case today. So if that's something that you like, please hit the thumbs up. Remember to subscribe, hit the bell so you don't miss out when I go live, because it's not like a routine, you know. you gotta catch it. When the hard work is ready, we go live with it. So we're going to be doing presentation time. We're going to do map time. We're going to look at all the videos. I've got the surveillance footage as well and everything. So don't worry if you've never heard of this case. That's the point of why I bring you these cases, is so that I can catch you up to speed all in one video. So thank you so much for being here. If you do share this video, especially on Twitter, for example, hashtag Tristyn Bailey. You can see the spelling of her name in my title or the description box. I've also got a whole description of the case written up for you in the description box below. And if you could share it with hashtag Grizzly True Crime as well, that would be great. So are we ready? Okay, everyone says we're ready. So first, what we're going to do, I've also got lots of documents and things. I'm wearing Tristyn Bailey's favorite color as well. Her favorite color was aqua. I would say aqua, but they say aqua, you know, American accent. And so I made my background like that. And all the lights in the neighborhood, they turned their lights to aqua globes, and they still honor Tristyn Bailey with that color by wearing a bracelet or a shirt or something. Okay, so let's get into the details. My presentation will give you a good overview of the case, and I've got clips and things to show you in between. So Tristyn Bailey, 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey, was born on January 18th, 2008 in Florida. She was the youngest of 5 siblings, and the family calls themselves the Bailey 7, and they said they will always be known as the Bailey 7. And they live in the Durbin Creek community of St. John's, Florida. She was a 7th grade student at Patriot Oaks Academy in St. John's, Florida, where she was also on 2 cheer squads. She was very ambitious with the cheer squad goals she had, and was doing very well in that as well. And as I say, her favorite color was aqua, and many have honored and remembered her by wearing an aqua ribbon or clothing. Okay. Rona, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So how did Tristyn know Aiden? Now, Aiden he was 14 at the time. He's 16 now. And we're going to get into all the details. I just want to go over, how did Tristyn know Aiden, who is the boy accused of stabbing her 114 times? So this case comes with a trigger warning, as does all true crime, but it's a difficult case, you know. So just prepare for that. So they lived in the same community, and they actually went to the same school together. And after Rona hit, Tristyn actually spent a lot of time with Aiden. They looked after an injured kitten together. Tristyn and Aiden were hanging out with another friend that night and left together around 1:10 a.m. So that friend's name was Trey, and Tristyn had actually texted. Let me take this off and talk to you. Tristyn had actually texted Trey. She got home from a competition at around 11:45 p.m. So that's the last time her family saw her. That was on May 8th, 2021. And then, clocking over into midnight goes to May 9th. So she was texting with this guy, Trey, and he was saying, come over to my house. And so she snuck out of the house and went to his house. And there she met Aiden Fucci as well. So not met because they were in the same school together, same community, but they all met up there at Trey's house. Okay. So also, I just put a quote there where Tristyn's brother actually said, my goal for my sister's memory is for it to remain untarnished, to remember all the good that she put out into the world. Kids will be kids and rumors will spread, but it's our job to stand here and fight against these rumors and remember what a wonderful, beautiful, smart, charismatic, confident girl that she was. So let's look at some background of Aiden's parents. For some of you, it might be a bit strange to go first into the background, but if you've read any of my books, it's kind of how I go. We first look at just like who are we dealing with, what happened, where they're from, and then we get into the story, right? So in 2003, Jason Fucci, Aiden's dad, was accused of child abuse, injury, and neglect. And then in October 2003, he was arrested for engaging in sexual activity with the 15-year-old girl at his home. He was sentenced to 14 months in prison and 2 years probation for the charges. I think it's sad that he only got 2 years probation for engaging in sexual activity with the 15-year-old. His parents are divorced and Aiden was living with his mom. Notebooks found in Aiden Fucci's room contained violent satanic drawings, for example, a female with red X's over her breasts and genitals, severed arms, blood, etc. Aiden loved knives and he collected them. He named them Picker and Poker. Poker was allegedly used in the attack on Tristyn, and he left Picker, at his girlfriend's house. Typos. His friends said that he used to sneak up behind his girlfriend with a knife and pretend to cut her throat. He was dating an 8th grader at the time. So that's interesting too, that he had a girlfriend at the time and he was telling her all sorts of things. And I mean, we'll learn more about that later as well. But he used to go up behind her with a knife and pretend to cut her throat. Like he was just just joking. Wow. His girlfriend said that he told her that he would find a random person walking at night, drag them into the woods and stab them. Now the sad thing is, and I think the lesson here is that if your friends are saying things like that, tell someone because it could save a life. We are not here to blame, we're not here to blame, okay? But just tell someone because in this case, he literally said that he was going to drag someone into the woods and stab them. And while he didn't drag Tristyn into the woods, he lured her into the woods and stabbed her. My gosh. Okay, so now we get to May 9th, 2021. On May 9th, 2021, and this was Mother's Day, Tristyn's mom woke up and couldn't find Tristyn. So the family was all having Mother's Day breakfast together, and they're like, where the heck is Tristyn? Her family looked everywhere for her, trying to understand where she may be or where she may have gone. They didn't know that she'd ever snuck out before, so we don't know if she had ever, if this was like a habit, or is it like the one time being naughty or whatever. Either way, no amount of victim blaming will happen here on Grizzly True Crime. There's some really disgusting things out there, you guys. I've been in the trenches digging out a whole bunch of stuff for you, and I'm like, oh my word. Like, people literally totally victim blamed her. That is wrong. It's not her fault for being a 13-year-old and sneaking out the house and going to hang out with her friends. That does not equal to getting stabbed 114 times. I think we all know that, but just in case. My word. Okay, so her family last saw her around midnight as they all went to bed. Her brother texted her about reaching his fitness goals for the day, and she texted back, cool, bro. At 10 a.m., Tristyn's family called 911 to report her missing. By 10:59 a.m., the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office had posted a message on Facebook to ask for help in locating the 13-year-old girl. At 4:49 p.m., the Florida Department of Law Enforcement activated a missing child alert and asked the public to contact law enforcement if they had any information. So by that point, everybody was panicking. The community started gathering together to search for her in groups. It was very rare to hear of a missing person, let alone a missing 13-year-old in their community, and everyone wanted to help. At approximately 6:06 p.m., a jogger who was he was going on a jog and he decided, I'm just going to keep a lookout. I'm going to jog a little bit through nature, right? And just have a look. And unfortunately, he did find a dead body in the woods east of the cul-de-sac on Saddlestone Drive. We will look at the maps as well. But yes, and that is apparently 0.3 miles from Aiden's home. So then he called it in. He was horrified. The police went out. And at 8 p.m., the sheriff's office announced that the body was preliminary identified as Tristyn Bailey. Absolutely terrible. So imagine that, just being like, wait, where is she? 1 minute, and thinking, where could this 13-year-old have gone? Because it was a weekend. It's not like she was supposed to get up for school, or they're just like, where could she have gone? Like, what could have happened here? And then by that evening already, her body was found and in a terrible state. So what happened? 13-year-old Tristyn hung out with her 14-year-old friend from the same school, Aiden Fucci, and another friend. As I say, that guy's name was Trey. And the pair was seen on surveillance footage walking in the neighborhood around 1:14 a.m. At 1:45 a.m., video surveillance footage captures them walking east on Saddlestone Drive. We will look at the footage. At 3:30 a.m., video surveillance from the same home shows a boy running in the opposite direction carrying a pair of white Nike shoes. And moments later, video shows him entering his home. Okay, so we'll look at that, and then if you've never seen it, it's going to make sense as well. Aiden's friends have said that he had told them that he wanted to murder someone in the woods, and what police found in his room seemed to paint the picture of a boy who fantasized about murder for a while. Some said he heard voices in his head that told him to kill people. After Tristyn's body was found and video surveillance was reviewed, police interviewed Aiden and his parents by 8:49 p.m. on May the 9th. And when investigators searched Aiden's home on May the 10th, they found a Buck brand knife sheath, a pair of white Nike shoes, like the ones seen in the video surveillance, with blood on them, and they were also still wet. They found a t-shirt with blood on it, a white piece of paper with scribbles and blood on it, and a pair of wet blue jeans in a laundry basket. And yeah, his mama washed the jeans for him. Oh yes, indeed. We'll get to that too. So Aiden was arrested by 3:30 a.m. on May the 10th, 2021, and charged with second-degree murder as a juvenile. Later, this charge was updated to first-degree murder, and he's being tried as an adult. His trial is set to start on February 6th this year. So he actually took a Snapchat and seemed cheerful when he was arrested. He said, "Guess who's in an effing cop car, guys? Tripping dude. I'm going to get arrested for this bullshit." And there is the Snapchat. Let me make it bigger so you could see. He literally posted, like a little peace sign there. "Hey, guys, has anybody seen Tristyn lately?" I mean, the lead investigator is horrified at the Snapchat. He looks so angry when he talks about it. He's like, yeah, it's in the file. Like, what the hell is this? I mean, he was 14 and she was 13. Okay, so this is where you're going to need that trigger bunny. You're going to need a trigger warning because these details are terrible. So we'll show the trigger bunny. Okay. Tristyn Bailey was stabbed 114 times. 49 of the stab wounds were defensive wounds, which means they were on her hands, arms, and head. Authorities found a buck knife with a missing tip in a retention pond near where her body was found. 140 feet, I believe, from where her body was found. They found this buck knife. It's a foldable knife with like a wooden handle. And yeah, the tip was missing. So that already they retrieved. Okay. And then they found the tip of the knife had broken off and was found lodged in Tristyn's scalp. So they think that he would have carried on stabbing. He would have stabbed her even more times if the knife didn't break. The word karma was written in blue ink on Tristyn's ankle, and a smiley face was drawn on the inside of her right ankle. What? Now, when Tristyn had gone to meet with that friend Trey and Aiden Fucci was there, Aiden was smoking some MJ, just for context, just so we know, I don't know, what kind of state that brings out in him. If he's hearing voices, I don't know, does it increase that mental state of his or not? I'm not sure. But how terrible. So, out of 114 stab wounds, 49 were defensive. 108 were non-fatal. At least 35 wounds were on her head and neck. There were no signs of SA, but toxicology reports show that there were handprints on Tristyn's thighs that were not hers. Remember when John Kelly was on the show, he talked about picarism. And picarism, I don't know if he's too young for this. I'm not sure because 14 years old. I don't know what his fantasies are based on. But before I botch the definition again, picarism is a sexual interest in penetrating the skin of another person with sharp objects, such as razors, pins, knives, etc. So it could be a case like that. We're not sure. It could just be pure, I don't know what, rage, curiosity. I don't know. A female classmate told the police that Aiden had asked her to sneak out with him the same night. So she says it could have been me. She's probably right, because he had told his friends within a month he's going to take someone to the woods and he's going to stab them. Fucci once told his cousin, "We might go to jail sometime in our life and that it would be something big." He was very ambitious, wasn't he? Oh my word. No, no, no. Two friends said that he spoke about killing people on multiple occasions and even said that they should expect something to happen within a month. And Aiden's girlfriend is the one that said that he would hear voices in his head when he was angry. The voices would tell him that he was worthless and a disappointment and told him to kill people. Okay. So Aiden changed his story a lot. He said that they walked together for a bit and then they parted ways. And then later he changed his story to she grabbed my penis and then he responded by shoving her and then she fell and hit her head. He didn't know if she got up and so he just walked away. I mean, great friend. Great story, bro. Great story. Also, he said that they were actually going there to meet a 22-year-old drug addict called Carlo. Eventually, Carlo was tracked down and eliminated as a potential suspect. The police believe this is the only accused killer in this case. The only guy who did this. Okay, so when asked why it took so long for him to get home, then he said he walked around for a while to clear his head. Because if they're like, okay, so then you pushed her, she fell, she hit her head, and then what? Because you live like so close, within half a mile. What are you doing then? So when Aiden and his mom were in the interview room at the police station, he told her that he'd been wearing jeans that night. In fact, when his dad said, "What were you wearing that night?" He did say jeans. And it's like, would there be anything on that? And he said, "No, sir." So he calls his dad sir. He seems to have quite an estranged relationship with his dad. And so the mom asked, "Well, would there be anything on it?" And then he whispered to her, "Blood, like blood." And then she looked at him and said, "Oh, so if you look at the videos, though, you were wearing khakis, right? I know you guys say khakis. In South Africa, we say khakis. But like, okay." And she was kind of doing that whole, big eyes. Remember, you weren't wearing jeans. Huh? Wink, wink, wink. And then later she went home and washed the jeans. She took the jeans out of his laundry basket and was caught on her own in-house surveillance, washing his jeans and putting it back in his room. So she was eventually charged with tampering with evidence. Yes. But you know what sucks is that she was released really soon. And I don't see any more information about it. It seems like she was released on, from what I read, something like $25,000 bail. And that seems to be the end of that story. But I'm like, what? Like, she helped him. She tried to help him clean the blood so that he doesn't get caught. Oh, my word. Luckily, he made many, many, many mistakes. Wow. But that is just... do not do that. It reminds me of freaking Brian Laundrie, and Roberta Laundrie offering him a shovel. You want a shovel? Should I help you? Like, burn after reading. I can help you. Like, don't do that. My word. So it's actually not. I read later something else. They initially said when police told Aiden that Tristyn was dead, his response was, "How is that my problem?" But it was actually his mom in that same interview room where they thought that no one was listening, which is so dumb because of course they're recording everything. Hello. But then his mom said, Tristyn was found dead. And he's like, is she good? And the mom's like, no, she's not good. She's dead. And it's all on you now. And then he says, how is that my problem? Wow. Can you believe it? My word. Yeah, I can see you guys. The Grizzlies are furious tonight. I would be too. I am furious too. This case is terrible. So this is a trial prep. So that when the trial begins, you'll know all about the case. So this is the beautiful Tristyn Bailey. She was only 13 years old. I mean, what? So here's a quick overview of legal stuff, On May 11th, 2021, Aiden Fucci was charged with second-degree murder and remanded to detention for at least 21 days in his first court appearance. And then on May 17th, 2021, Anyway, Andy Snober, who was hired by Aiden's family, withdrew from the case. I'm not sure why, but he's like, oh, hell no, I'm withdrawing from the case. And then on May 19th, Tristyn's family held a celebration of life for Tristyn at Celebration Church in Jacksonville, which we'll look at. On May 20th, 2021, the judge approved indigency motions filed on behalf of Aiden's parents, and it was announced that he'll be represented by the Public Defender's Office. Now that, I was like, wow, so the mom can bail herself out. For what I believe is about $25,000 or something like that. But then when it comes to representing their son, they're like, oh, no, we can't afford that. We can't afford that. So a public defender will be representing him. On May 27th, 2021, Aiden was charged with first-degree murder, and then on May 28th, it was decided he would be held with no bail. On June 3rd, 2021, Aiden enters a plea of not guilty, just like his mom. She was also like, not guilty. On June 5th, 2021, Crystal Lane Smith, that's his mom, was charged with tampering with evidence and pleaded not guilty on July 26th. And on July 14th, 2021, Aiden's friend said that he talked about killing people frequently and was getting very specific, saying in the weeks leading up to Tristyn's death that he would drag a random person in the woods and murder them. Again, no matter what age you are, if your friend is telling you that they have this awesome plan to kill someone, please tell someone. Please tell someone. Tell an adult. If you're a child or a teen, tell an adult. Call the police if you can. Somebody say something. This is just insane, right? What happened here? October 28th, 2021, Aiden was back in court and continuance was granted. January of 2022. So you can see there's been a whole long legal process already, of course. Reports show that Aiden, okay, so check this out. Aiden has been threatening to stab other inmates, staff, and their families, and has been placed in solitary confinement. So this is still going on to present day, back and forth. Like he's a big, tough boy now there in jail. He's getting ready for prison. On February 2nd, 2022, there was a pretrial hearing. On April 5th, 2022, Aiden has a new public defender, Rosemary Peoples, and the trial was initially then set for November 7th to 18th. And then a motion was actually recently filed for Aiden's trial to have a 6-member jury, and he'll be tried as an adult. It's not a capital case due to his age. He's only eligible for life in prison, and his trial is now set to start on February 6th, 2023. As we know how it goes, there could be delays, but that is when it's set for now because there's already been so many delays. Okay, so that is my little overview. Now, what I want to show you is quickly this. Okay. So we've got some documents here. I'm not going to go through all 128 pages. Don't you worry now. If you joined the members only live yesterday, when we're deep diving Elliot, Roger, then you'll know that this could take many hours. Okay, so I'm going to show you these first. Arrest report. So, arrest report. Okay, we've got Aiden Fucci, and they say on Sunday, May 9th, 2021, at approximately 10:00 hours, the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office received a call in reference to a missing 13-year-old female. The initial investigation led deputies to contact the above-named defendant, who provided an initial statement. The defendant's story changed several times, but ultimately made several admissions. The defendant admitted to being with the victim at a mutual friend's house and leaving at approximately 1:10 hours with the victim. The defendant admitted to walking north along North Durban Parkway, which was verified with video surveillance footage obtained from the North Durban Amenity Center, which depicted 2 subjects resembling the description of the victim and the defendant walking north at 1:14 hours. The defendant admitted to engaging in an argument with the victim in which he forcefully pushed the victim to the ground, striking her head. The defendant further admitted to walking around and got home at approximately 3:30 hours. And we see him get home. We're going to look at the video. Video footage obtained from a home on Saddlestone Drive revealed 2 subjects walking east on Saddlestone Drive at approximately 1:45 hours. One subject was wearing what appeared to be shorts, a light-colored hooded sweatshirt, and white shoes with a black Nike logo. The second subject appeared to be wearing black pants and a black shirt. The video footage depicted only one subject wearing the shorts and the light-colored hooded sweatshirt walking west on Saddlestone Drive at approximately 3:27 hours. I've zoomed in so we can look at it together. To me, it doesn't appear to be shorts. It actually appears to be the jeans they're referring to. But, I mean, I get that when they first saw the footage, it was in the initial stages, they might have thought, that looks like shorts. But it looks a little bit like, it looks more like, like jeans that he's wearing. Yes, and Rob says, thanks to the docket for all of the great documents. Thank you, yes, to the docket for all of the great documents. His channel is the Docket 71, and also for the surveillance footage that we're going to look at today. Okay, so they say the second subject, and Tristyn was found wearing black pants and a black shirt. The video Footage depicted only one subject wearing the shorts and the light-colored hooded sweatshirt walking west on Saddlestone Drive at approximately 3:27 hours. The subject walking west was carrying a pair of white shoes with a black Nike logo. The defendant was transported to the sheriff's office and placed into an interview room. While alone in the interview room, which was audio and video recording, the defendant's mother mentioned something about video surveillance depicting the defendant carrying his shoes. The defendant admitted he took his shoes off because his feet hurt. I think he probably washed his feet off. I'll show you the map right after this. He probably like tried to wash his shoes off or something, and I don't know why he's saying his feet hurt and he had to run like that. That's quite odd because the shoes were found wet when the police looked in his room. The victim was located deceased on the south end of a retention pond located just to the east of the cul-de-sac of Saddlestone Drive. The victim appeared to have significant injury to her head and other trauma and was wearing black pants and a black shirt. It should be noted the defendant's residence is located approximately 0.3 miles from the location where the victim was discovered, which is consistent with the timeline established from the video surveillance. A search warrant was executed on the defendant's residence, where several items of evidentiary value were located within the defendant's bedroom, which were consistent with clothing observed in the aforementioned video surveillance. Furthermore, some of these items yielded a presumptive positive test result for the presence of blood. So when his mother was washing the jeans in the sink, the bathroom sink and the jeans tested positive for blood. A search warrant was executed, as we saw that, okay. Based on the defendant's statements, the video surveillance, and the items of evidentiary value obtained from the defendant's bedroom, probable cause was established for homicide. And here you could see they signed everything. And there's a lot of documents in here, lots of legal stuff. We've got the booking information here, juvenile. You could see him there. We've also seen pictures of him on the slide there. So, yes, he's from Jacksonville, Florida. Okay. So, what I'm going to do now is... got so many things here. Okay, now we'll first do some map time. Then we're going to look at that surveillance footage. I want to first show you the map so that you can see what we're actually looking at when we do that. All right, let's do it. Okay, so what we have here is, I don't know the exact house number, but Tristyn Bailey lived on Cloisterbane Drive. So I hope you can see it nicely. Wait. Okay. And let's try and make it full screen. There you go. So Tristyn lived on Cloisterbane Drive. And she had gone over to Telford Drive to hang out with that friend, Trey. And that's where Aiden Fucci also was. So the three of them were hanging out for about half an hour. Aiden had smoked some MJ. I'm not too sure what the other two were up to. I know that you can see in the video that Tristyn was vaping. And this is the school that they go to, the Patriot Oaks Academy. And then his house is around this Castledale Court area. So let's go like this. Cloisterbane Drive, it's quite a far-ish walk that she was doing there with him, walking, towards his house. And then, if that's his house, this is that Saddlestone Drive where they were walking and seen on surveillance footage. Okay, over here. And then he walked her to the end of this cul-de-sac, and here's these retention ponds where her body was found, which sucks. So I'm actually not too sure if it's this one or this one. From what I see where they were diving at, it looks more like this one. But walking her into the woods here, into this wooded area, and then stabbing her 114 times, leaving her body there and chucking the knife into the retention pond, and then running home. He ran home. Like you'll see him sprint, okay? So that is what we're looking at. Let's see what you guys are saying. Denise says, so if someone is here that knows the family or if you're friends with them, sending our condolences out to you. You have the full Grizzly True Crime support. You're so welcome here if you ever want to use the platform to talk about the case. Denise says, Angel, tell them we are standing with them and want justice for their precious daughter. Yeah, so sorry if I missed some messages. Okay, Angel here. Angel mom says, I live here and I know her sister, her family's so kind and loving. They are completely devastated. Yes. So Michelle says, I didn't realize it was in Jacksonville. I used to live there. So this is in the St. John's community. Jacksonville is a bit further north. Jacksonville is up here. Yeah. Which is, I think, about 31 minutes or so north. So it's all in this area here. Wow. So yes, so from Cloisterbane Drive, you've got the story now, right? You can see Cloisterbane Drive is where Tristyn Bailey stayed with the family, and she went over to Telfair Drive to hang out with Trey and Aiden, and then they left after half an hour. And I wonder how Aiden convinced her to walk all this way with him, and then even past his house, and then they were walking. Maybe he was saying, we have to meet someone there. Maybe he was saying, come with me to meet my drug dealer, and walking all the way here. And then he did what he told everyone he was going to do, which is horrible. Okay, so we've seen the map. Now, let's put this on. Now, let me first explain what I've done here. And yes, thank you to the docket for sending me these copies of surveillance footage too, so I can boost it and everything. So what I've done here, okay, with my software is there's this little feature they've got now called AI voice enhancer, because no one's ever heard what they were talking about. Now, I can't exactly hear what they're talking about, but the sound, it's a little bit weird. It almost sounds a little bit eerie, okay, because it's now boosted everything. But if you can hear anything, or if you watch the replay and you're like, wow, I couldn't hear what they were talking about there, and if you think it could be helpful in the case or something, call that in. You could also drop a comment below or send me an email if you think you can hear anything. The docket and I have been listening this afternoon, like, what are they saying? I'm not too sure. So just know it might sound a little bit weird. So again, we got the trigger bunny. The trigger bunny, but trigger some people, but we've got the trigger bunny. So, okay. Now we're going to look at the footage. So what you're going to see is Tristyn walking with Aiden east on Saddlestone Drive towards that retention pond, and then you see him afterwards running home. So I've got it all in chronological order here for you. Okay, so I'm going to play it now. Okay, so I just quickly want to go back here. 1 second. I don't know. I can't see the timestamp on top there. Normally it is on top there. Yes. It's at 1. I don't want to get it wrong now. Wait. We're going to look here. We're going to look at the next slide. Like this. 1:45 a.m. Video surveillance footage captures them walking east on Saddlestone Drive. So that's at 1:45 a.m. And at 3:30 a.m. he's running. Okay? So from 1:45 to 3:30 a.m. That's the time that passes, and he only lives 0.3 miles from there. In case you're wondering, where are they? This is that bit of the footage where you can't see them anymore on the screen. And someone asked if she's smoking. It looks like she's vaping. Okay, so you could see him running. I'm sure the paranormal community had fun with that video because he looks like a ghost, literally. But they say it's because of the low light of the camera. So yeah, we can hardly hear anything. The video actually, some people think it's silent, but it's not silent. I boosted it as much as possible. You can hear they're saying something, but I'm not 100% sure. Do you want me to play it again, or are we good? Someone's saying who's the third person behind them. So now let's just go one more time with this. I literally do not see a third person. And I think there's just like shadows and glitches because I also, it's not because I zoomed in. I'm just saying it's very zoomed in right now. I could show you the original if you want. So right after this. Yeah, it's just two, right? It's just two. Yeah, there's only two. Now you're going to see him running in the next one, which is at 3:30 a.m. And he's carrying his shoes in his hand. So this view that we see here now is how the original view was of the two of them walking. But then, they're so small walking on that pathway there. That's why I zoomed in for you guys so that we could see that. So yeah, he's running there. And now let's see when he gets home. There he is, arriving at home, carrying the shoes, asking his mom to open the door for him.
The brief two-page report shows a critical piece of evidence in the case against accused killer Aiden Fucci. It involves the knife that News4Jack's cameras saw investigators recover from a pond shortly after Tristyn Bailey's body was found. Read this excerpt. It concerns that knife and something found embedded in Tristyn's scalp. It is therefore concluded that the item 20 knife blade tip recovered from the victim's scalp and the item 19 buck knife were at one time a single item. Only a short amount of time means forensics will likely not have much trouble tying it to Fucci.
Tripping, dude. Having fun in a cop car and then die.
So literally there, he's like, I'm tripping, dude, having fun in a cop car. He wasn't upset at all. He's just like, oh, cool. Like, look at me in a cop car. What? Quite crazy. Let me see if I can quickly put this one on for you guys. So this is the original footage without any boosting, just as it was. They say 2 walking east. There we go. Okay. So that's that. That would be, this is the original footage that I zoomed in, and now you can hear how much I boosted it and used that AI feature to be like, what are they even saying? Just to see, can we hear anything? Becky G says, look like a decent neighborhood. I'm still wondering about the public defender on taxpayers' dollars. Must be something I'm missing. Yeah, that feels horrible, right? Okay, so let's get back to this video here. This is the original press conference, which, let me just see. The date is supposed to be right up there. I think it's from, it was right there, May 28th, I think it was, 2021. And I put it at 1.25 speed so that we can watch it together a little bit faster.
Against Aiden Fucci for first-degree murder involving our victim, Tristyn Bailey. Once the grand jury had done the indictment, we did a transfer order, which I believe some of the folks in the media had already gotten a hold of, transferring the case from juvenile court to adult court. The indictment is the triggering document which signals and executes the move into the adult court system. So Aiden Fucci will be tried as an adult in St. Johns County for first-degree murder. Now, Aiden was initially charged.
Okay. Rowan to you said, did he move her body at all? The interesting thing is that they say the way that she was found was if she was like lying on her side. I mean, we know that he drew on her ankles too, which is disturbing. This whole case is disturbing, but it's as if she was lying on her hand, almost as if he posed her. Whether he did or didn't, I'm not sure, but it seems possible that he did.
With second-degree murder. The indictment is for first-degree premeditated murder. Now, some folks have asked us why, or wanted to know why we would charge premeditated murder, and also why we would choose to seek adult sanctions on Aiden, who is a 14-year-old boy. Well, we're going to talk about both of those together to give you an idea of why the decision was made to charge him as an adult, and why we believe first-degree premeditated murder is the appropriate charge. I think both of those intertwine and will explain why we did what we did. First off, I want to tell you, it brings me no pleasure to be charging a 14-year-old as an adult with first-degree murder. But I can tell you also that the executive team and I reviewed all the facts, all the circumstances, the applicable law, and it was not a difficult decision to make that he should be charged as an adult. It's a sad decision and a sad state of affairs, but it was clear to us after we looked at what happened that it was not only appropriate to charge the defendant as an adult, but it was really the only choice that we could make. Now, you've heard that our victim, Tristyn, was stabbed. And I believe Sheriff Hardwick, who I'd like to say wishes he could be here today. Unfortunately, he couldn't be. But we'll have Director Skip Cole will speak for the Sheriff's Office. But to say that it was horrific could arguably be made as an understatement. The medical examiner completed an autopsy on our victim and identified confidently that there were 114 stab wounds. 114. At least 49 of those stab wounds were to the hands, arms, and the head, and were defensive in nature. The bottom line is that premeditation could be inferred, certainly, from just the sheer number of stab wounds that Tristyn Bailey had to suffer. Every time that arm went back and every time that arm went down, that was premeditation. And it happened, if you times 114 by 2, that's 228. But it's not just the fact that she was stabbed 14 times, or 114 times. It's also information that we were able to glean from witnesses. The defendant made statements to several people that he intended to kill someone. He didn't say who that was, but he indicated to witnesses that he was going to kill someone by taking them in the woods and stabbing them, which are certainly the facts of this case.
That's the thing. He told people he was going to do it, and he literally did that. The trial is set to start on February 6th, 2023. There's been lots of delays, so there just might be another delay. We're not sure. But that's when it's set to start. And I think it might be televised. Not 100% sure about that either, because, when I see it with my own eyes, we'll know, So yes, I'm hoping that this episode will get you fully ready for that. When you see the trial happening, you'll know all about the case. Yes. Okay, so continuing on.
The defendant had a knife that he carried with him. A knife was found in the pond, very close in proximity to our victim's body. That knife had a tip that was broken off. That tip was located by the medical examiner in the scalp of our victim. The statements that the defendant made to his friends made it clear that he was considering a homicide. And I got to tell you this, it's disturbing and concerning that those statements were not, let's say, adequately or appropriately, or not taken seriously by the folks that heard them. I'm not saying that this could have been avoided, but I'm saying that it was never reported beforehand. Now, as we move forward in this case, and we continue to develop the case, we will continue to develop more evidence. Not only do we have the knife, which was identified by witnesses as they say it's his knife. It's consistent, as the medical examiner says, with the wounds that were found on Tristyn's body. And it's also the description and the hilt and the wounds themselves match up per the medical examiner. Not only that, we also have DNA evidence that we have developed.
I like this guy. Also, if you're just joining now, thank you so much for joining and catching up on this case with us. This is the first time I'm presenting it to you on my channel so that we're all caught up for when the trial begins, and we'll know what we're watching if we're going to watch it, right? And so he will be tried as an adult. He, because of his age, is not eligible for capital punishment, though. So tried as an adult, but the biggest sentence he'll have is life imprisonment, just so we know. And I'm not sure if he's 5'11". It does say so on the police report that we looked at, but I've seen other reports that say it's more like 5'5" or something like that. I mean, for 14, isn't that very tall? I don't know. It says it right here. I don't know if they just entered it like that, or if he actually is. Remember, I work in meters, centimeters, so I'm going to have to convert and just figure out, is this too tall? But yes, let's continue watching the press conference.
In this case, there is the defendant's DNA on the body of the victim. And there is the victim's DNA on the knife blade, on shoes that belong to the defendant that were found in his bedroom, on a T-shirt that was found in the defendant's bedroom. And there's additional items that we are looking at now that have been sent to the FDLE lab for confirmation of blood and DNA analysis. I just want to say that I hope parents will learn something from this vicious and brutal murder. And that is that you need to know what your kids are doing and what they're saying. Because while we might not be able to stop these brutal and vicious murders from happening, we ought to at least try. And sometimes parents might be reluctant to dig into what their kids are doing. For those of you who have kids, you know that when you start wondering and asking and investigating what they're doing, you have a battle on your hands. But it's a battle worth fighting. So I hope that parents will realize that teenagers are capable of things we have never imagined they could be. And this case is an example of that.
Morning, Mr. Fucci. I'm Judge Orfinger.
The key players here are the judge, Michael Orfinger out of Volusia County, Aiden Fucci, who didn't say much during the 8-minute hearing other than verbally acknowledging that his mother, Crystal Smith, and father, Jason Fucci, were on the call.
Aiden.
Oh, there she is. I see her.
The 14-year-old read his rights and asked if he had an attorney, which he does, but given the nature of Zoom calls and computers, it took a few minutes to get him on too.
Okay, I do not see
Mike, call him.
him on the Zoom call. Snober is now.
So you could see his mom and dad at the bottom here. I just put together a whole bunch of clips for you so you can see the initial appearance and all. Like, look, I couldn't put it all in, but I took as many clips as possible from his court appearances up to now.
Now joining the call.
So with his attorney, Andy Snober, now in attendance, there were no other statements made by anyone other than the judge.
All right, Mr. Fucci, you're charged with second-degree murder. Murder committed with a depraved mind, but without premeditation.
Judge Orfinger ruled there is probable cause and that Fucci be held at least 21 days in detention. This all pending review.
Don't know why it's stuttering like that. Sorry about that.
Review and further action from the state attorney's office.
And I'll grant your motion to withdraw at this time, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
The second item of business, Fucci's parents and their finances. They both asked the judge to be declared indigent. That means they cannot afford an attorney for their son, Aiden. And with this murder case, the legal fees are expected to be hefty. A little background here. Fucci's parents are not married. The teenager lives with his mother and her partner in the high-end Durbin Crossing neighborhood. But state statute says property is not considered when qualifying for indigency. And Thursday, the judge wanted to know more about Fucci's father's finances.
And are you employed?
Yes, ma'am. I'm self-employed, but since this, the company has took a downward fall.
Okay, so that your company is just your only source of income?
Yes, ma'am.
Both of Fucci's parents were then deemed indigent, and because of that, the judge appointed the public defender's office to represent the 14-year-old.
Well, thank you, Your Honor. Actually, we're going to have a team of attorneys representing Aiden Fucci. We're glad you did that, Your Honor. It's a privilege to represent young Mr. Fucci.
Fucci looks
Okay, so I think some of you are still rolling in here because you're asking questions that we addressed earlier. Is he going to face the death penalty? No, because of his age. So it's going to be a maximum sentence of life imprisonment, but he's being tried as an adult. So we have that as well. This is from September 2021. He's going to be looking all confused here. And there was actually, so let me first tell you this, a forensic psychologist not affiliated with the case said after watching the video of Fucci's behavior that I'm going to play now on the court feed, he wouldn't be surprised if the teen receives a mental competency evaluation. He definitely looked disorientated and confused. It's hard to tell if he's feigning mental illness or if something is really happening with him, said Dr. Justin De Arenzo. From my perspective, it seemed genuine given the pattern of behavior today and from what else we know. So this was quite strange, but I mean, yeah, after this, he seems to have not been so confused anymore because then he's just become a bad boy in prison, you know. He's in mostly solitary confinement from what I'm reading. But here he looks genuinely confused. Let me know what you think.
around aimlessly, appearing to be confused during court on Wednesday.
What got going on? Why am I here? I just want to talk to my mom and dad. What's going on? What's going on?
He rocks back and forth and mumbles about demons.
What's got going on? I don't let you demons. I don't let you demons take my soul. You demons want to take my soul away. I don't let you demons steal my soul.
Today, the teenager charged with murdering.
I mean, afterwards, he's looking a lot better again. The guy in the background in that video is just like chilling. He literally puts his hands on his head. He's like, okay. So maybe he was faking it. I mean, probably. Probably, huh? Because he seems not to have the same problem now. Just based on what we can see, of course.
His classmate in St. Johns County last year will appear before a judge for a pretrial hearing. Police say Aiden Fucci stabbed 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey to death back on Mother's Day. Fucci's mother, Crystal Smith, will also appear in court today accused of evidence tampering in that case.
You guys, amaze us. And
Okay, so what I want to show you now is Tristyn Bailey's celebration of life. So it's her family talking. So it's very emotional to watch. Just know. And you can see they're all wearing the aqua. Okay. I always put that like cool filter on the videos when I do the press conferences and things that I show you. So it is looking a lot more cool than it did then, like the cool filter. But everyone is wearing aqua. That's Tristyn Bailey's. That was her favorite color. And they still wear it today to honor her. When they think of her, everywhere they see aqua, they think of Tristyn Bailey. So if you are just joining now, I hope that you'll watch the beginning because we went through a whole presentation of a case overview. We went over some documents as well. And then we looked at all the footage. So now I'm going to play you the celebration of life because we get to actually know the victim, which is what the case is all about. Okay, I'm also not sure what's happening with the mom's case. She was let out on bail. I'm not sure. I can't really find anything much going on about her case, so I don't know. I did see people speculating that maybe after his trial, maybe she'll be held accountable in some way. I don't know. But damn, the fact that she's like washing his jeans, trying to cover up for... I'm almost scared to say baby boy because this guy is very, very scary, right? But, like, let me wash the jeans and just pack it away and let's hope that clears the problem, which it really doesn't. Okay, so let's watch the celebration of life together.
the outpour of love from our community is breathtaking. And we cannot thank you enough for that. I had to write a speech down. I've winged it the past 2 times I've had to speak, but I wasn't sure how I'd do today, and I had to write it in big print because I wasn't sure I could see it on the phone. Stage. So, today I had a really hard time, and this morning I went into Tristyn's room, and I went there to Coodle, because that's what she always asked, and I just wanted to try to be close to her and be next to her. My heart is broken, and it is devastated. But I made a promise to her today that I was going to keep her memory alive. I was going to make her name shine above all the evil that has happened and from the goodness that has poured out from her friends, our families, our community, and across the world. I make that promise that I will do something good in her name. For those of you that were blessed to personally know her, you know what an amazing and fiery personality she had, and you can attest that she was the kind of friend that you would like to have, and she always had your back. Tristyn's determination to be front and center was evident the day that she was born, because she was the loudest one in the nursery. She was the only blonde one in the nursery, and she was just, here I am. She had a drive in her soul to be the best and always give 100% to achieve her goals. A small story about her drive is when we put Tristyn in swimming, thinking that this was an amazing sport and a life skill. And while she liked it, it was not her passion, so she moved on to lacrosse. Let's talk about that. The realization that it's really, really hot in the outdoors in Florida. And this is not her thing either. But boy, did she want to cheer. I personally could not bear the thought of going back into the cheer and dance world, as I knew the time and commitment that it took for me coaching cheer and her older siblings spending up to 6 hours a day at the cheer gym or the dance studios. But Tristyn was determined to prove to me that she was going to be a cheerleader, whether I liked it or not. From teaching herself how to do her splits, her back bends, her back walkovers, just to prove to me how much she wanted to be a cheerleader, I caved. And so it began. This is where her passion and drive grew to be the best she could be. Over the past couple of years, Tristyn was always on all-star cheer and in school cheer. This year, she shared team captain on her POA cheer team with one of her besties. It was a huge goal for her. As our all-star cheer family knows, Summit and Worlds is your goal. Tristyn's ultimate goal was to be in one of these. While at Zone All-Star Cheer, her team achieved getting that bid, but it was sadly taken away from COVID. This past year, Tristyn had switched gyms to Infinity All-Stars, and she became more determined than ever to make that goal happen. These girls from Majesty worked so hard and developed a bond that is unbreakable. They won their UCA cheer competition, and that dream came alive as they got the bid to compete at Summit. Tristyn, you did it. You met your goal. Her drive and passion did not stop there. When she would come home after school, I was always given the tea of the day, and a lot of it because she had a lot to say. She spilled a lot of tea. I would sit here in amazement listening to some of her stories, and I learned she was the kind of friend that I would like to have. She always defended those who could not defend themselves. Some of you may not know it, but she was very sensitive, and she never wanted to disappoint anyone. Tristyn cared deeply for her friends and always wanted to have as many friends as she could. And oh my goodness, she was so funny, you guys, so funny. She could be a silly teenager, but could have heart-to-hearts with an adult like she was an adult. And I think that she truly forgot that they were my friends too. She tried to take them over. She was an honor roll student, determined to succeed academically, going as far as taking her first high school credit online this year just to get ahead in school. There's so many things I could share about this sweet girl, and in the future I will. Her TikTok, that's my squad, and you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us, because we are family. That holds true to every aspect in her life. We are forever changed as a family, but we will always be the Bailey 7. For now, I will follow what Tristyn has always said. Get it together. You got this, Mom. Always and forever, my cheerleader and my sweet baby girl.
Difficult for me to know where to pick up. There's been a lot of words said, Tristyn described in a lot of ways, a lot of stories shared, and I've realized that I actually enjoy keeping the Tristyn that I know close to me and keeping those memories close to me. I will share a few, and one of them I've shared before, and it just struck me as everybody was talking about her determination and her drive and things like that. When she first started in cheer, and she was at Zone and she was working, and she had a coach that was challenging her, and it was tough and it was hard. And I remember talking to her, and I love those rides home from gym, and there's nothing better than when it's just you and your child in the car and you can talk, right? And talked to her, and I said, well, what do you think the motivation of the coach is? Why do you think she's doing this? What are your common goals? And we talked about it. The coach wanted her to be better. And we said each and every day she was going to turn around and she was going to go to that coach and she's going to say, thank you for believing in me, thank you for trusting me, thank you for making me better. And Mel, thank you for being that coach. For those of you at Infinity, thank you for continuing to push her. Because those are the people that care about us, the people that bring out the best in us. And I've been very, very, very fortunate. I think each of my children have been touched by great coaches. In listening to this, I know there's been a lot of us, and I want to just take the blame for that. I always wanted a large family. So when Stacey and I met, I said, hey, I wanted to have 4 to 6 goals. That was 4 to 6 children. That was my goal in life. Okay? I wanted 4 to 6 children. It has been my most meaningful goal ever. And it's been the thing that has brought me the most joy in my life. And I am so proud of each and every one of my children and the blessings they are. Thank you all. And keep her with you. And with all of that, it is never lost on me each and every day that there are reasons why I've been as blessed as I have in that regard. And first of all, I've been very fortunate to have the most incredible parents who have always been there and always supported me. My wife has had an incredible parents who have always been there, and particularly Jean, everything that you've done for Stacy. And the foundation of our family, and I think Brittany said it, or it may have been Alexis, I don't know, one of the two of them. They weren't really good at the household chores because Stacy took care of everything. And the heart of our family, and the reason that our family is what it is because of my wife, Stacy. And I am incredibly grateful for you. Love you. With that, I do want to return to the element of cheer. And guys, I've been to a few cheer competitions. I didn't go to all of them. I know that that's a lot of mom-daughter trips and all of those things. The hotels really like it. You guys do great with all of the socializing too. But I've never heard a group of cheerleaders as quiet as I've heard this group. So a couple times I'm going to ask you to get really loud. Forgive me, respective pastors here. You guys killed Tristyn's song list, so we got to go somewhere, okay? And with that, I really want to, kind of take a step back. And I think the big thing is last Sunday, when we were missing Tristyn, we reached out and we asked for help, and was completely overwhelmed, just completely and totally overwhelmed with the amount of help that we had. And the help came from a number of places. You can see we have friends who have become family, and they were there. And that allowed me to stay at home with my family while other people were searching. So to my community, I want to say thank you. The big cheer that I need everybody up there, and I would ask everybody in the room to really join me with, is from the initial start, this team over here, the St. John's Sheriff Office. They were there. It was tireless over, eventually they were told they had to take the weekend off to wait for information to come in because they were working around the clock. They have been in our homes. They've kept us apprised as we need to be apprised. But even though they were doing their job, they did their job with love and compassion towards us. And never at any point in time did I question that they were investigating and going through every single thing that they possibly could. So to all of you, on behalf of my family, we cannot thank you enough for everything that you and your colleagues have done. God bless you, and I would ask everybody to cheer these people. From there, once I realized that Tristyn wasn't going to be coming home as we had hoped for, I asked for privacy. We didn't get it. I will just say that. But what we got is what we needed. And so immediately we had messages from so many people, and we had messages from many of you here in the room. Thank you. I learned something very, very difficult, and that is there are no words. When you give somebody your thoughts and prayers, you are giving them everything that you can possibly give them. And for everybody who has done that, thank you. That's all you can say. There are no words to say. There are no words that will heal it. So all of the messages that poured in from people all over the place, they helped us. Then we started to have the tributes that kind of came in. My son-in-law is a firefighter. Again, another group that doesn't get enough thanks. And another group that whenever called upon is there and taking care of our community. Case in point, I have no doubt that some of you that are here today were fighting that fire yesterday. So thank you again. Well, we've talked a lot about the Lord in here, and we've talked about God. Anyone who knows me knows that I also have strong roots in our Western heritage. I consider the mountains home. And as part of that, some of that comes to me, and there's been several themes that have hit me this week, and there's one of my favorite stories that kind of goes around, and it's It's kind of told, and there's a question as to what tribe that it comes from, but it's typically attributed to a Cherokee tribe. And it goes somewhere along the line that a Cherokee older was sitting there talking with his grandson, and was talking to his grandson about the battle that goes on within us, and was talking about two wolves fighting. And he said, there is one wolf that is evil. It is anger, envy, jealousy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, false pride, superiority, and ego. The other wolf is good. It's joy, peace and love, hope and serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. And the grandson posed the question to the elder and says, which wolf wins? And the elder's response is, the one you feed. And that's what I think hit me this week. We asked for privacy. I will speak for myself and say that I was filled with sorrow. I was filled with a lot of angst. But what we received was love. And so it started almost immediately. We had family coming to town. We had friends that came over. We had people bringing us food. We had the messages. We had incredible support, people letting us know what was going on with Tristyn. Monday morning we woke up. We had an entire school, thank you, wear white to remember Tristyn. There was a rock that was painted. Then later that evening there was a vigil that I think I heard somebody said had 3,000 people in it. And in addition to that, when we couldn't attend it, we had local news that streamed it so that we could see it. We've had the support, and then it's just grown. So the North Amenity Center has become a tribute. We've seen this color all over the place. The bows, the video tributes, ribbons, again, the food coming in, Infinity Zone having things, remembering her, stickers that came in. Again, we asked for nothing, but people so wanted to give that we've been overwhelmed with contributions that have come to the community that is going to enable us to make sure we remember her name. And we're grateful for all of this. On Friday, we had probably one of the most unexpected things when a number of the streetcar clubs decided to drive through our quiet neighborhood late in the evening, teal lights all over the place. And I understand it is a group that typically doesn't get together. They were typically doing their own things, but many of them came together to drive through to pay tribute to Tristyn. We've had workouts. We've had 5Ks being organized. We've had a number of businesses that have reached out to support, and many of them have asked to be anonymous. We all have benefited because we've had our colleagues step in for us and say, don't worry about anything, worry about your family. So for all of you at Brush, we appreciate it. Rob, Christy, Omar, thank you for supporting Alexis. I've had outreaches from people all over that I've worked with, but the support that I've had from my Deutsche Bank family has been absolutely incredible, and I thank you as well. And it's always about remembering this. But I've realized this is not just about support for us. It is about support for the community. It is us saying that we're all right. It is us saying that we have love, and our love is greater than the evil that can exist in the world. So last week I asked for privacy and didn't get it, yet it gave us the love and the support that we needed. Tonight I'm actually going to ask for something. So for all of you that knew Tristyn, all of you that were on a team with Tristyn, that were in class with Tristyn, that were, on the rides and got the tea, I need you to do one thing. When things get difficult, when things are tough, when you want to achieve something, but it's challenging, I want you to hear one more additional voice in your head encouraging you forward. And you did that when we saw all the tributes that came in of the bows last weekend, when we saw the local teams that were wearing teal, the baseball uniforms. We want you to continue that further and really take her name to heart and hear her cheering you on. So I would ask that for each of you. For everybody who's here in the audience and anybody who's watching virtually, I have another request. we've had a number of people reach out, and I've had a number of very dear friends who unfortunately are part of the same unfortunate brotherhood where they've lost children. And there's many people that have lost loved ones. Please, if you can, today, tomorrow, the next few days, give them your love, because it never goes away. They're always going to be hurting. It's always within them, and they need to feel the love that we've had an opportunity to feel this week. So please, please, please show them your love. And I would ask all of you to do that. The other thing is, as you drive around and as you see all of these ribbons, you see all the tributes that are going on. For everybody who's here, for everybody, we've heard from people in almost every state, all kinds of countries that are going on. Tristyn, I guess, wanted to go viral, and she went viral. We have a movement as a result here. But the thing that I would say is, when you see these things, recognize you're seeing expressions of love. Take that to heart. Use that to get past all the bad in the world. And one of the greatest treasures we've had is our Sunday nights. We sit down to dinner together. The electronics are off. Please find that time to sit down with your loved ones. We have too many distractions, and I think having that time is important. So I would ask you guys to also find the time to do that. With that, I want to bring the rest of the Bailey 7 up here, because we need you to find the bottom of your lungs, because on 3, we're looking for a Tristyn Bailey strong. So with everything you got, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, that was hard. There's a lot more people that said they want to see the siblings' speeches than ones who don't want to see it. So we'll look at that as well. Just a quick recap for anyone joining now. We're looking at the case of Tristyn Bailey. She was a 13-year-old girl who was born on January 18th, 2008 in Florida. The youngest of 5 siblings. You saw a whole family on stage there at her celebration of life. She was a 7th grade student at Patriot Oaks Academy in St. John's, Florida, where she was also on 2 cheer squads, and her favorite color is aqua. And many have honored and remembered her by wearing an aqua ribbon or clothing, which is what I'm wearing today. I've also made sure the background is aqua, darker aqua, so that it blends in nicely with everything we're doing. But yes, that is why I'm wearing this as well, in honor of Tristyn Bailey. And Tristyn knew this guy, a 14-year-old at the time. He's 16 now. Aiden Fucci, from school. They went to the same school. They were in the same community. They went to hang out this one night. Yes, she snuck out of the house. Teenagers do. So no victim blaming for that. And she went to hang out at a friend's house, Trey's house, and then Aiden Fucci was also there. And then they walked back towards her house, but passed, and then carried on walking towards his house and still passed, because then somehow he must have convinced her to walk towards the woods with her. He had told all his friends that he was going to drag someone to the woods and stab them, and the friends unfortunately didn't warn anyone or say anything, which sucks. So it's a good lesson to say something if a friend is expressing things like that, or a boyfriend or anything like that. And so on May the 9th, 2021, as they were walking, he changed his story a lot, but unfortunately, sometime after around 2 a.m., he's accused of stabbing Tristyn Bailey 114 times. So we went over all of this. So if you missed this, please check out the beginning of the episode, and you can watch that on 1.5 speed if you want to catch up. I don't know if you will catch up now, because we've been here for an hour 20. He also, when he was first in the police car, not arrested, so he's not in cuffs here yet. They just wanted to interview him. He had a Snapchat that he uploaded that said, "Hey guys, has anybody seen Tristyn lately?" Like, dude, this is not a joke. My word. And he said, "Guess who's in a effing cop car, guys? Tripping dude. I'm going to get arrested for this bullshit." So that is the case that we're looking at. And it's been quite some time to get to the trial of Aiden Fucci. And finally, it seems to be upon us. I'm going to say at least this year. It's scheduled for February 6th, 2023. So it's right around the corner. It will be amazing to see this actually happen, because at the end of the day, we want to join in the fight for Tristyn Bailey. I wasn't on YouTube at all yet when this case was happening. I followed it a bit, but I did find it's really rough. It's really graphic and really terrible, as many cases are. Some are more triggering personally than others, right? And anyway, I'm glad to bring this to you today so that we can go over this and so that when the trial happens, you'll be all caught up to speed on all the details of the case. So we've looked at this presentation. We've looked at police documents as well. Let's remove this. So we looked at the presentation, Maptime, police documents, and everything. Let me quickly show you this vigil one.
1 year since the murder of 13-year-old Tristyn Bailey shook the local community. Investigators say she was stabbed to death by her schoolmate. Her body was found on Mother's Day in the Durbin Crossing neighborhood. And that's where her family is honoring her memory with a vigil tonight. News4Jax reporter Bree Isom is joining us live in St. Johns County. Bree.
Yes, being here a year later is just bringing back all those emotions. But I do remember just how this community came together for Tristyn and for her family. We have some video from last year's vigil. They plan to do the same thing tonight. Last year, people prayed, they lit candles, and remembered the 13-year-old with that captivating smile. Now, a year later, the family is still grieving. The Bailey family shared this statement. Quote, 1 year, still finding it difficult to express the feelings on the loss of Tristyn. Rather than try as much as ever, we are committed to keeping Tristyn's spirit strong and to focus on the good. Our resolve was strengthened yesterday with an Amazon delivery. It was nothing we had ordered. 2 drivers stopped by out of the kindness of their hearts to give us flowers. One of the drivers had been delivering last year. The other driver normally delivers in our area. We learned that a couple of weeks before Tristyn was taken from us, she chased down the delivery driver to give her a bottle of water on a hot day, and they still remembered that kindness. We will continue to share kindness in Tristyn's name as she always shared kindness with others.
And said Bailey strong, as we saw there as well. Lex Luthor says I could have sworn they were related. That would be the Lily Peters case. So if you haven't followed that one, I have a playlist for that case as well. That was also a teenage boy, but Lily Peters was, I think, 9. Horrendous. Also, for you guys asking earlier, there is a Tristyn Bailey Memorial Facebook page if you want to check that out. They say Tristyn Bailey was a vibrant and beautiful young woman. She had goals and dreams of pursuing journalism. I mean, she was 13 years old. 13. That's so scary. So you can follow this Facebook page for all kinds of updates and things. I'll make sure to link it in the timestamps and everything afterwards. And here's a page called the Community Foundation for Northeast Florida, Tristyn Bailey Memorial Fund. The Tristyn Bailey Memorial Fund was established to honor the vibrant life of Tristyn Bailey. At just 13 years old, Tristyn was an inspiration to those around her. She was a loving daughter, sister, and friend, a dedicated student, and an avid cheerleader, constantly supporting and encouraging those around her. Tristyn was dedicated to achieving her goals, whether it be in academics or mastering her bad luck for cheerleading. She was, backtuck. She was also dedicated to helping others achieve their goals by providing encouraging words and sharing her time to help them out or giving a big hug when needed. This fund will be used to continue to spread Tristyn's light, love, and passion for helping others. Fly high, Tristyn. You will live forever in our hearts and minds. So thank you all for being here as we go over this case. I really, really appreciate it. There's just still the siblings speeches that I would like to go over that I have prepared for you. It's also at 1.25 speed, so just be aware of it. If you're thinking it looks a little bit like, wait, is this normal speaking? It's a little bit sped up. Otherwise, we will be here forever, right? So I'm going to play that now because at the end of the day, this case is about Tristyn Bailey. We want to learn as much about Tristyn as possible. And yes, I get how everybody's feeling angry, of course, about what the suspect, Aiden Fucci, did. There seems to be a lot of evidence, against him. So the trial should be quite interesting nonetheless. And I must also just say that if we look at this, some of the latest stuff now, this was posted January 24th, 2023, where they say Tristyn Bailey murder, Aiden Fucci's team bids to hide evidence like satanic drawings, knives from the jury. So a motion hearing on the case of Aiden Fucci, 16, who was charged with killing his classmate Tristyn Bailey in 2021, led to a variety of rulings, which is why to be thankful for the public defender he has. Otherwise, there wouldn't be all these rulings, I suppose, right? Court records claim that Fucci's legal team wants some pieces of evidence to be kept from the jury's view. Mystery drawings and several knives obtained by police are among those pieces of evidence. So they are they're filing a lot of motions. If you missed the document time we looked at, thank you to the docket for this. There's a whole binder that the docket actually made for us over here. And let me show it to you like this, if I can. And so there's actually 128 pages, and it's got all the records, all the motions, everything. It's just too much to go through right now. But it's a very interesting read nonetheless. And as always, I'm going to put this on Patreon. That's generally where I put documents and things like this if I don't have time to read through it all. So that if you guys do want to read it yourself, then you can. So there's a whole bunch here. If you don't know who the docket is, he's got a YouTube channel, The Docket 71. And he also has a Patreon, patreon.com/The Docket. I don't know if there's Docket 71. I'll check now. But yeah, you can go check that out as well, where he actually, on his own Patreon, has body cam footage and interrogation tapes and documents and all sorts of things. As you know, here in Grizzly True Crime, we love documents, right? Oh my word. Now I need to know how to say your name. T-A-M. My first ever super chat and membership. That's awesome. Thank you for all you do, G. Long time lurker and fan, fellow Sapphire expat, and possible #1 fan. Lol, fight me. Grizzlies, that's a challenge. You gotta fight. Who's the #1 fan? Thank you so much. And it's always so nice to see fellow South Africans in the chat as well. As you guys know, I'm South African living in the Netherlands. So thank you so much for being here, everyone. I'm going to play these speeches next, and then we'll wrap it up.
As for our superstar 1 in a trillion queen, no good deed goes unseen.
I'm just going to say it's not too long. So if anyone's like, oh no, like if you don't want to watch the speeches, which I don't understand why, because we get to learn so much about the victim. But if you want to come back in like 10 minutes, I think this whole clip I think it's 10 minutes or max 12. So I'm going to just play that for you guys now.
Especially for Tristyn. She made sure all of her good deeds were well seen and well heard. For example, taking the dog out to a walk to the backyard. Doing a dish, just one. Or her favorite, changing a wet diaper, because we all know that child would not touch a dirty one. Tristyn always made her presence well known. That's why she shines so bright and cheer, and rounded up some of the best of friends a girl could hope for, some of which were closer to our parents' age than her own. Tristyn had a laugh that was absolutely contagious, and the most beautiful smile I've ever seen. She knew how to light up a room, usually with her fresh new TikTok moves, or her rap-influenced lyrics that were probably inappropriate. When I found out I was pregnant, I remember feeling scared to share the news with my family, but never was I fearful of being a mom. I have Tristyn to thank for that. My mom, having our Singaporean sibling when I was 16 years old, guided me into motherhood seamlessly. I was there for Tristyn's birth, as well as the birth of a placenta that my dad did not prepare me for. I was there to help her crawl, watch her take her first steps, hear this awful high-pitched squeal that was so unnecessary. But again, even at 2, she didn't go unseen. Sing a handwritten song that went something along the lines of "Stormy, come home tonight" on her pink ukulele. Braid her unicorn hair and always surprise her with a new outfit when I would go out shopping for myself. My absolute favorite, though, was when I would ask out loud to anybody, "Do you want to?" And before I had even finished my sentence, the girl already had her shoes on, walking out the door, asking if we could stop at Starbucks on the way. She could care less where she was going as long as she had her double chocolate chip frappuccino, or her newest favorite, which was shocking to me, was an iced caramel coffee that came out black and she drank it. Shocked. Tristyn was my little Minnie. She was our family's baby, our idol, the one we deep down wish we could be like. Our similarities created some of the strongest memories and tightest bonds, but also some of the most catastrophic fights. I mean, we're talking about the two of us going at it with each other over the exact same thing, and usually it was a terrible attitude towards one another. But that was just it. We were so similar, we got over things the same way. We could always just start over, like our mom. The love was always evident and trumped all. Tristyn was one of the most confident, well-rounded, beautiful, smart, and kind-hearted humans I know. She could care less what the world thought of her. She loved herself some Tristyn. Life will be difficult in this new world we have been shoved into. Aqua Blue will always speak to us just as much as Gucci belts and Starbucks will remind us. But even through all the hard that is to come, we are seeing the light. Just alone, the outcry has been more helpful in this grieving process. My family and I together have vowed to never let Tristyn's name be lost, especially to her little niece, who was robbed of having enough time with her aunt. The Bailey 7, as it will be said multiple times tonight, will forever continue, and each of us siblings will always be one of 5 brother and sisters. A few days ago, as I was frantically shopping for one of the hardest colors out there, shocker, Tristyn and her uniqueness, a jewelry stand caught my eye because I saw her color. As I began to read about this company's concept, I realized this was a business who makes jewelry to inspire people and their achievements. Go figure, turquoise represents the healing of mind and body. As I grabbed the turquoise bracelet that originally caught my eye, I read, let me just say also, I am not into this stuff. Like, this is weird for me, but this happened to me. Okay. As I grabbed the turquoise bracelet that originally caught my eye, I read the saying that was on it, and it read, always my sister, forever my friend. Weird. So obviously I bought it and walked away crying my eyes out. My goal for my sister's memory is for it to remain untarnished, to remember all the good that she put out into the world. Kids will be kids and rumors will spread, but it is our job to stand here and fight against those rumors and remember what a wonderful, beautiful, smart, charismatic, confident girl that she was. And my advice is counteract any negativity with a positive, uplifting story about our girl, because she always would defend the underdog, regardless if she was friends with them or not. Tristyn, I love you more than words can express. And as for our favorite movie that we watch on the daily, I can't wait for the day when I get to see you again. Till then, we will be down here cheering you on while you're above freaking out over the millions of admirers you have gained. My girl, you have gone viral. And we cannot wait to do big things in honor of your name. You deserve it, and so much more. Forever and always, Tree. Siblings are the people that teach us about life. They teach us what it means to be kind and caring, to be fair, and to know we will not always be right. They teach us about teamwork, conflict resolution, and most importantly, they teach us what it is to love and be loved. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Alexis. I'm Tristyn's second oldest sister. If Tristyn was asked to describe me, she would tell you I'm the hoarder of animals or I'm the breeder of the naked cats. She would then go on to tell you every single animal I have ever owned, all of her favorites, and the ones she doesn't like too much. She would also tell you about her kitten named Pino. See, last summer when COVID hit, Tristyn came to stay with me and help nurse baby Pino back to health after he injured his eye. Little did she know when she agreed to this, she would be entering into what we've affectionately named Bailey Boot Camp. See, we have the most amazing parents in the world, and growing up, we had our mom home full time with us, and all of the housework, all of the laundry, my mom took care of so that we could just focus on school and being the best kids that we could be. Well, it was great. When the 3 oldest of us moved out, we realized we were a little behind the curve in doing housework, laundry, and our day-to-day lives. So once Tristyn was officially in the house, I sat her down and I said, listen, Tree, I'm not your mom. You're gonna help maintain this house with me. Again, there's a lot of animals there. So we set to work on learning how to do laundry, dishes, vacuum, mop, scoop litter boxes, and train my new Great Dane puppy, Snitch. Spoiler alert, Tristyn never figured out how to vacuum. Yet every day as I would walk through the door, Tristyn would greet me and tell me exactly what she accomplished that day and what she needed help figuring out. Afterwards, we would cook dinner together, sit down to watch Grey's Anatomy, and awe over me. Then she would go to bed with me every night and would insist on coodling me. Not cuddling, coodling, you have to get the terminology right with Tristyn. When I tell you, I would wake up every single day with Tristyn sprawled out on top of me and her retainer in my hair a few too many times to remember. After a few weeks, my mom was calling me, begging for Tristyn to return home. I may have instead offered to return my brother, who flunked out of Bailey Boot Camp. And unfortunately, my mom turned down that offer several times. She just wanted her daughter back. But as summer finally drew to a close and Tristyn did go home, I would get phone calls from my mom, and she would tell me how Tristyn would insist on doing laundry all by herself, cleaning her own room, and tidying up after herself. She was amazed, but she did make the point I needed to tell Tristyn she couldn't just do her own 3 shirts, and she needed to throw in other people's laundry as well. That summer, I will always hold close to my heart the stories, laughs, and lessons learned, the fight over me stealing all of her clothes and shoes, teaching me that every pair of jeans has to have at least one pair of holes in them. During that summer, I got to watch Tristyn grow and realize just how much she is capable of for herself. Tristyn's desire to be the best that she could be and her annoyingly precise laundry sorting. Our own special memories were made just for the two of us. So today I leave you with this. When someone you love becomes a memory, the memories become treasures. Let Tristyn become your treasure.
Okay, there's only about 4 minutes left of this. And yes, I do think it's important so that we get to know who the victim was.
Okay. I try to figure out the right words and write a speech for this. However, as time kept moving on, I realized that there were no right words to say. I just want to explain how important my sister was and how much I love her. While Tristyn may have been my little sister, in many ways she was more grown up than me, as in she had a much better sense of style, and I will probably never possess as much style as she has. She also had a lot more confidence than I had, and many times I would force her to order my food at restaurants because there's no way I could do that. And there's even times where I would convince her to do the craziest of stuff, and it would mortify my mother. Tristyn and I had the ability to drive our parents up the wall with our never-ending bickering. One of these times is when my father would be away on business trips and we would fight over who got to sleep in the middle next to my mom. I never really cared. I just liked annoying her. She did, however, end up winning 95% of the time. And that's really all I have. I'm real bad at speeches. But I just want to leave off by saying that Tristyn may not always be by my side, but she'll always be in my heart.
So normally I would introduce myself as Tristyn Bailey, but right now I think I'm better known as Tristyn's brother. Which, for those of you who don't know, she loves attention, and she would be holding that over my head for the rest of her life. You see, in high school, I, got pretty involved, made sure that when I left for college, I left some shoes for Sophia and Tristyn to fill. And I gotta say, right now, Tristyn's probably looking at me thinking, yeah, you're my brother. Because, Sophia, there were a couple times where I know she got the, oh, you're Tegan's sister. I think Tristyn got it a handful of times, but not as often. Right now, I am Tristyn's brother, and that is something that I am proud of. While Tristyn was the baby of the Bailey 7, I thought that she didn't have any younger siblings. She only had older siblings. But something I've learned over the past several days is that is horribly incorrect. Going to multiple of the events that the cheer community has put on, listening to the retellings of the tea tellings, Tristyn had an incredible amount of younger sisters in the cheer community. There was one particular story where apparently Tristyn hopped into one of her cheer mom's cars and was talking, yeah, there's this girl, I'm kind of so-so, don't get along that well, but she was being picked on at school, so Tristyn went over and told the other person off. And if that's not the definition of a sister, I'm telling you you're wrong. I have 4 of them. That is the definition of a sister. Anyone who has spent time around my family, you have likely heard somebody say that I'm going to be the greatest husband ever because I was raised with 4 sisters, an amazing mother. I now have a niece who is very energetic. And the truth is, I don't know if that's true. What I do know is I've been the most blessed brother because my sister is correct. I flunked out of Bailey boot camp. I am a work in progress, and my sisters have done an incredible amount of work on me. They have taught me many lessons, and I want to share with you some of the lessons that Tristyn has taught me. The world can be made much brighter with just your smile. To always be proud of yourself and never hide yourself. That no matter who is watching, go and be silly. Go and enjoy life. Everything can be made with just a little bit of glitter or bedazzling, and sometimes both. That is not only possible, but probable that that 13-year-old does have better dance moves than you. And most importantly, to have determination and drive to reach your goals. I'm not fluent in cheer terms, but I understand a significant milestone is something called a back tuck. The amount of times I would hear her talking about this and the amount of practices she went to master this, that girl worked for her goals. The Saturday before Mother's Day, I have an activity tracker. I have a certain amount of calories I try to burn each day. I went to dinner with my family, and when we got back, I had not reached my goal. So I went out on a walk, and I was joined by my sister, Sophia. When we got back, Tristyn asked me, "Hey, did you reach your goal?" And I was like, "Yeah." I closed my rings. She said, "Cool, bro." The last thing I got to talk about with my sister was that I reached my goals. That takes determination and drive, things that I learned from her. As my sister Brittany said, I know one day I will see her again, and my new goal is to tell her that I've reached all of my goals between now and then, and that is something that I learned from her.
Okay, you guys, thank you so much for watching that with me. A struggle to relate to people like, why is this important? Because I'm not like a quick fix channel where it's just a dopamine hit. It's a case. It's a little girl, 13-year-old girl who was murdered. So I would love to hear more about her from her family. And it takes a lot of time to make videos like that, to find them, to make them look great for you, to boost the audio and stuff. So I really appreciate you guys who actually appreciate stuff like that, because at the end of the day, we want to show her family support. We want them to know that we are joining the hashtag Bailey Strong, that we want to be there, showing them support when this trial is going to happen, because some horrific information will come out of that. As much as the defense, of course, is saying that those satanic drawings and collection of knives and things he had, they're trying to, let me just word it correctly, make sure that it's not. They bid to hide evidence like satanic drawings, knives, and things like that from the jury. So there's that as well. So I just want to show them lots of support. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here and watching that with me. I think it was wonderful. It's the 4th time I've watched it. So, you know, when you're sitting there watching free content on your couch that I took all day to make, I hope you appreciate it, because what we're here to do is support the families. Thank you to, I really want to say your name properly, Icicle Aksu, OA Music. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate it. Let us always remember what the cases are about. Let me show you this, which I've made this for us so that we can remember Tristyn Bailey. And I really appreciate that you were here. We've been here for almost 2 hours now. So if you missed the beginning, we have looked at, I want to do this properly. We had the whole presentation time, map time, document time, and everything. And then we looked at all these video clips, and including Aiden Fucci in court. We looked at the trial dates and all of that, the legal bullet points and all that stuff. So yes, so thank you so much for being here. We didn't just sit here and watch a memorial, even though that's still very important. And now I'm going to put this on the screen so that we can remember Tristyn Bailey. And I will let you know, if I know any updates on this case, on the Aiden. It's not the Aiden Fucci case, it's Tristyn Bailey's case. But on what's happening with Aiden Fucci, the trial is set to start on February 6th, 2023. I'll let you know if there's any updates, if there's, a shift, a change, because you know how it goes sometimes. So there always could be. Let's see this song quickly. Thank you, Terry. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. There's lots of cases that we'll be looking at, of course, here on Grizzly True Crime. So if you are a new subscriber, old subscriber, there's still lots of OGs. I mean, like Lorraine, for example. Lorraine said, "You're awesome, G. That's why I'm ride or die. We support these families and victims." exactly. I mean, Lorraine's been here from pretty much day one. So it's so nice to see OGs in the chat as well. Really appreciate it. Original Grizzlies, if you don't know what that means. I really appreciate your support. Thank you to everyone as well that joined membership today and our patrons. The document's going to go on Patreon. As I said, it's a whole binder with all the motions that his defense team is filing and all of those legal updates and things. So I'm going to put that on Patreon for you. And if you missed the deep dive that we've been doing on Elliot Roger and you joined membership today, check out the members only playlist because you may want to watch that before the weekend. It's a 5-hour stream I did yesterday. I thought maybe today I won't have a voice, but here I am with my voice. And so, yes, when I'm not working hard in front of your eyes, I'm working hard behind the scenes and usually doing Patreon or members only streams and things like that. So I hope you guys will check that out as well, because that is interesting. At first, when I heard about this Aiden Fucci case, I was like, is he an incel at all? But no, it doesn't seem so. He had an 8th grade girlfriend. So it's not part of that community. But yeah, that's a very interesting deep dive as well. So thank you so much, everyone. For me, it is 1:15 in the morning in the Netherlands. I'm South African, living in the Netherlands. My name is Gisela K. Mr. Grizzly also has a channel. He's got a live going right now. It's called Sakura Aviation, if you want to check it out. And of course, thank you so much to the docket. I did check it. The Patreon for the docket is patreon.com/thedocket71. If you want to check out some of his tiers and body cam footage and things like that, go check it out over there. So thank you so much. And No Robinson Crusoe says your voice gives victims a voice. And for all of you on Twitter who follow me out there, thank you. I can't wait to see you there. We've got a whole Twitter squad there now. We've got all the Grizzlies on Twitter. My handle is Grizzly Gisela. So I'll see you over there. Because if I'm not over here, I'm normally over there. And if I'm not over there, I'm in a rabbit hole. That's normally how it works. So thank you so much. That was quite the waffle time I just had there with you guys. If you're new to the channel and you don't know what waffle time is, you can see the emoji there. So here is my handle. Follow me on Twitter. And you can see I sometimes put my presentations here as well. So you can go through it yourself and just read it. You'll see from tonight's one, I'll have to fix a few typos that I made. Mortified always when I see a typo, but it's okay. We've presented the case as we wanted to with the facts. And yes, you guys are like, get some sleep, G. Remember, only Sunny Slaughter tell me go to sleep. She's like, you go to bed. If you don't know who Sunny Slaughter is, check out the episodes that we did with her as well. So 1:20 in the morning. I appreciate you all so much. And I will see you probably tomorrow. I'll see you in the next one. I'm still watching the murder trial and I'll let you know if there's like big updates there. But generally, yeah, let's see how it goes. I don't have I'm very hyper. So to just sit and watch trials, I don't generally do that. But I am keeping an eye on all the updates as well. Okay, guys, see you soon. Bye.